Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Sylvia and I make videos on planning with the occasional review. Today's video is going to be my setup for August 2021. I actually have a couple of things that I'm using for the month of August just because I couldn't make up my mind. I'm going through that situation that all planners get to where I just can't make up my mind what I want to do. So I set up August not only in my 1917 Leuchtturm, but also inside of my Hobonichi cousin. So we'll see which one I stick with. Let's start in here first. So this cover is an A5 croc styled Leuchtturm. Beautiful. You can get them on Amazon when they're available. Sometimes they are more available on AliExpress if you check that out. And this has months, weeks, as well as days in it. I've been having some struggles with the fact that this is the A5 cousin Hobonichi, and so it's the full year all in one place. I'm not going to do that again. I hope that Sylvia in the future watches this video, and it will be Sylvia in the past, however all that works, and she will realize that this is not the planner for her. But it's just really difficult to kind of buckle this a couple different ways. I had it in here and it was bending the crap out of my little tabbies here, except they're really nice and bendable, so they can kind of bend back into place. These are by, oh my gosh, I can't even remember right now. I might have to leave a link down below because I can't think right now. Nope, I can't remember. Anyway, so I moved it from here to here on an ollie clip, hoping that would help so that it wouldn't push up against these, but this guy is still pushing them. I don't know if you can kind of like, you can tell, but they're pretty bent up, and it is what it is. I have this laying back here, but it has this big ol' hump, mostly because I have stretched it out to push it out so that it would stick and stay away from these tabs. So the struggle is real, and you know, I don't know. This is just a lot to write on. And with this Tomoe River paper being Bible-y thin, I can just, it just bothers. So it is what it is. You could try to put a writing board back here to help with that. It's just annoying, and I almost want to cut it off, but I'm not going to because I'm not going to. Anyway, so right now, currently, I have a bunch of stuff off to the side because I kind of wanted to share with you my setup for August, but also the supplies that I'm going to be using and why. So my pen, first of all, is the beautiful Frixion Biz, and this is in a 0.38. It also comes in a 0.5 and I believe a 0.7. I've never owned the 7. And again, I was just housing that inside of an ollie clip because the pen loop situation is real. So this is here not only for that, but to toggle between my monthly as well as my weekly. I'm sorry if this is just too bright. I made this earlier, and then when I went back to edit it now, I realized it wasn't in focus. So we're going to try to figure it out and roll with it because this is the time I have to film. These are some rub-on stickers that I've had for a really long time. I'll flash the name on the screen, and I think I got these from Cute Things from Japan, and they're just really, really cute. So these ones are actually just the bottoms, and then you can put like the vegetation, whichever ones you want, inside the little pots, and I don't know, I'm enjoying them. I think they're really cute, and it was hardly any work, and I appreciate that. I've started to fill out a couple of things, but not really. This is just an extra sheet of paper because I have been asked to write down emails and phone numbers lately, and people don't always want a sticky note because they want something they can, you know, fit in their pocket because they're not planner ready like myself and probably all of you. So there's that. In the weeklies, I have gone ahead and gone back to, if this will focus, I don't know, the camera just doesn't want to focus at all today. I'm so sorry. And it is on manual focus, so maybe if I bring it up. I've just gone ahead and put in my weekly things that I like to track. So reading and audiobooks here, 15 minutes, movies / TV shows / YouTube shows. I like to put that here, especially the YouTube because it's usually for educational purposes. And then 30 minutes here. Writing notes. If you're new here and you're like, what are the 30 in 30 and 15 minutes. The 15 minutes was something that I thought up after reading a lot of habit tracking books. Basically, the idea is to sit down and do something for 15 minutes that you really want to get done. And you're hoping to actually spend more than 15 minutes, but giving yourself a really low amount of time usually gets you started. The commitment of an hour on some projects are just like, I can't wrap my head around that. But sometimes I will stay for about an hour on a project if I just say it's only going to be 15 minutes. Same with 30 minutes. So I have two different ones depending, because I couldn't really think of anything I wanted to track in this category. I used a Uniball Signo in silver to make these very kind of faint lines, because I have in the past used this one and it's just too dark, and sometimes I like to change up the amount of lines I put in each category. And since this is Biblically Thin Tomoe River paper, I can really see the darkness from the page before where the line is. So I went with something a little lighter, and I think I like it a little bit more. It's not so harsh, and it kind of blends in with the thin lines, or the light lines, excuse me, that are already there in gray. For my dailies here, I have this one's an old one. You'll see that in my 1917, I have blown this up a lot more to fill up the page. This is the one from my Moleskine days when I was going to have a Moleskine, and it doesn't come to the edge since the Moleskine is more narrow. So I just fixed that by putting a little bit of washi tape so it looks like I did it on purpose, when in reality I did not. I just changed my mind. And again, this is that silver line of Signo. I think it's really pretty. And here are what the dailies look like in case you've never had a Hobonichi cousin. I think I'm just going to leave it like this. Over here I can put my schedule for writing or any major appointments I have for that day, and then this can just be for notes and what have you. I'm going to try this out. I'm not going to break it up. I do see people like Amy Graham. She tends to really break this down and, you know, take a ruler to it to help her, you know, break it down a little bit more. I think I'm going to wait to do that and just try to use the lines that are already there and see how it goes. My second option, because I couldn't decide, is the 1917. Now, I took this cover, you'll notice, off of the cousin and put it into my A5 crock because I felt like that was the right thing to do. This is by Cat Espresso. I'll leave a link down below. Unfortunately, this does not have a splice here for me to use my closure, so it's kind of trapped in there. I was thinking about taking the cover off and shoving in a piece of cardboard and cutting it so that I don't cut into this part, and allowing this to be free so that I can have a closure. But currently it's just kind of sitting at my desk, so I don't really need a closure. Oh my gosh, I had to take a break. Asthma, it's like a thing. Okay. So you guys have seen the setup of this before for 2021. And I started off in here for July. I moved out and went into rings, which I'm currently still using that as my wallet and for just like note taking on the go. Sometimes, you know, you need a planner that's already dated, so that when you're on the go and somebody asks you about a specific date for something, or, you know, hey, we should get together 2 weeks from now, sometimes it's a little bit harder. I usually make a note, but sometimes I need to look to see what day of the week that is. So the Hobonichi cousin is a little too heavy for me to carry around anymore, so I prefer to do that in rings. I kind of abandoned all of this. I did do a lot of this stuff. I just stopped checking things off and just started doing things, and that's okay. Here sort of got a lot of things done, and then I forwarded some things. This was my challenge for NaNoWriMo. My challenge was 10,000 words to add to Project Violet, and I did reach my goal, but I just, you know, scrapped this whole thing and didn't check them off. I actually only made it about halfway to chapter 22, so I still have to do all of the rest of this in August. So I'm going to keep these in here and update them and finish them up for the month of August. This is just an extra one that I can add other things to, and I'll just change that at the top because that's what whiteout and washi tape are for. Now you can see how I pretty much failed here because I just couldn't be bothered to plan in an A5 1917. A couple days here I was able to get it. I think I was out of town, so I just didn't want to carry this, so I didn't. Right now this is August. These are actually the last 2 days of this. I had a Sunday here, and then like this line side was going to be for revisions. I just put some awesome Van Gogh washi on the top and I moved on with my life. So you can see that this one's blown up a lot bigger and it reaches the edge of the page, which I like. So August in here. And this is just similar to spreads I've had in the past. I'm going to be keeping this as my monthly index, more like a memory index. It just helps me trigger what I did for that day. And then over here we're going to have my audiobooks and physical books. I usually just write in the title. I like to see how many days or weeks it takes me to read, even if it's a long time, even if it's an audiobook. I need to see that, and I really don't care as much about the time, just as long as I get it done. There are moments when these are time sensitive because I get them from the library or online library, so they do have due dates. Over here, filming, I'm trying to do better about filming because I have a lot of good ideas and things I want to share. I just haven't been home, and now I think I found a chunk of time where I will be. My writing log will go over here as usual. This is my weekly focus. I didn't put my weekly chart in here since I've set it up in the Hobonichi. Since it's already kind of set up, I don't have to draw that out, and I appreciate that. I like to take things over here that are going to be bigger projects and break them down over here. So that's why it's basically just 2 pages of weekly focus, but I like to break it down over on this side. I'm trying to catch up on some movie watching. And these are how my dailies look currently. I like to put my tasks up here and down below a little bit of journaling, just bullet journal style, like Writer Carol style, just to help me out throughout the day so I can see it at a glance. If I have any major journaling, it doesn't happen in here because I don't like to carry my private thoughts with me everywhere. That's when and if I do take this on the go. So it's kind of interesting because August starts on a Sunday. Yeah, so I went ahead and just went from Sunday to Sunday in here, and that is everything. So instead of doing the collections and, you know, getting things done, next action list in the back of this, I just currently have the sticky notes I showed in my last video for that on this writing board. And I think that this writing board came from Jet Pens, like, I don't know, 3, 4, maybe 5 years ago. I don't even know if they still sell them, but it is A5 size because I have this cover on here and it sticks out a little bit. It keeps this from sticking out, which is really nice. If I didn't have this cover, I think it would stick a little bit out from the actual hardcover. So there's that. And that is the second planner that I am going to be testing out to see what I like in what planner and which one I stick with. Now, the other thing I wanted to talk about are some of the things I'm going to be using for August. I have had so many flippin' struggles, y'all, with these Frixion highlighters and pens at first. And I abandoned both of them, and I have been sticking with the Frixion pen for, I don't know, probably over a year now. I come back and forth to this all of the time. I've been using this consistently for probably 5 months. This highlighters I abandoned, and then eventually, so these ones that I actually got from Tokyo Pen Shop, and they get them from overseas, they look like this, but the American version have these tattoos on them, these tribal tattoos. I saw them, you know, I have struggles with not buying stationery and it's back to school stuff everywhere. I walk into Walmart and Target and I'm like, please Sylvia, walk by, just walk by, and I never do. So I ended up buying some more because these ones are all, you know, run out. I don't even know why I keep them here, like they're dead. They don't even, this one might work, but some of them don't. Yeah, this one works. But some of the other ones, see, like that one doesn't work at all. But anyway, the point is I ended up buying these, and there were like, I think there were 8 in a pack. Do I have all of them? I think I do. So the yellow, the purple, and the blue repeat. And I thought that was really weird. Like, I could appreciate why you would get 2 yellow because you use yellow to highlight a lot of things with. But it's like, why couldn't we just have 2 sets in one? You know what I mean? It's just, it's kind of weird that they're like, we're not going to give you these 2 colors. I don't even know. So I just had 3 of them that are just extras off to the side because they're not needed. So I decided to go back to the Frixion pens for a specific reason. The reason why I am using these Frixion pens has to do with the fact that I am in the revision process of my novel. So right here, I went ahead and I made a document with all of my chapters, right? They're on the front and on the back, and I'm probably going to blur this out. But I wanted to use Frixion Highlighters to kind of show what stage of writing each chapter is in. So I was going to give each color a stage. Since I already filmed this video and it didn't work out, I'm just going to talk you through what I did here. These are a bunch of different pens that I have, and I went ahead and I highlighted them. One, this top side, I highlighted with the regular Frixion light highlighters, and then I had a ton, a whole set of these Frixion colors, and I'm always trying to use them. And they're meant to be like, they're just markers. Like, you can just write kind of in a bold marker style, but I thought, oh, maybe I can highlight with them. So I tried that out. It didn't work out, and that's why I decided when I went to Walmart I was going to pick up these guys. But you can see here that when you use gel pen, it really hates friction, and every time I would like pull it across, if I was lucky I could pull it across once. If I had to go twice, it was even more of a smear. So when I erased it, the smear stays behind, and it was just incredibly unfortunate. Even some of the pencil erased when I was using the regular highlighters. So over here I have one where I used this guy, and then this green one up here is the Frixion Color, and you can see how with the inner gel it really just made it all murky and gross, and it's pretty gray. Sorry if I'm shaking you, but you can see after I erase it that there's a lot of gray and black left behind, and it was incredibly disappointing. So here, this one comes pretty well up from a ballpoint pen, but the best reaction you're going to get is going to be friction on friction. So right here I can just write friction. Oops, this one's running out. That's why it's so gray. And then if you highlight it, I'll give it a second to dry. It's really the best choice of them all. So basically I will write something in one of those boxes, and then I'll highlight it in pink, which means that whatever stage this is in is not a great one. And then I can just go over here and erase it, and you'll see it erases a lot nicer than anything else. So sometimes when I go like this and I swipe away stuff, people will be like, why do you do that? Because with Frixion you shouldn't have like any eraser shavings or anything like that. You can see here, that little black thing, it's sometimes like a little bit of the ink will come off of a regular pen, and sometimes the paper, it's just like when you use a Frixion on it, it will pull up some of the paper, like the pulp of the paper, I don't know what you would call it, and so you have to like remove it, mostly because a lot of the paper I use, especially with sticky notes, they're recyclable, which means it's not the best quality of paper anyway. So on the Tomoe River paper it works beautifully, and I never really had much of a problem with the 1917 either. So in case you weren't familiar with the Frixion pens, the Frixion highlighters that you can get at Walmart, or you know, some of these things that you might have to buy online at Amazon or from Jet Pens or Tokyo Pen Shop, these are some of the struggles that you have, and they are real. So it's just best to have friction on friction. Everything else is kind of just iffy. Some days I don't have as much smearage. I did do this yesterday. I waited for it to dry, and then I put it on there and then erased it, hoping more time would be the answer. That is not the case for me. Maybe I'm using them wrong. I don't even know. Maybe somebody's going to be like, what? I've never had any smearage like that. And that's great. They don't work well for me. So right here you see this little hot mess. This is me just like marking off my highlighters because they had like a lot of black ink on them. And I was just like super annoyed. So that's another situation that you have to deal with. You can see there the black marks. So I just take them off like that. And that is everything, my setup and what I'm going to be using as far as planning supplies for the month of August. So let me know if you've ever tried to do two planners that are basically going to show the same results of planning, just to figure out which one you like best or where you like some things maybe more than in others. And if you've ever used these Frixion highlighters, Frixion colors, and pens, and what struggles you've ever had with any of them. I just wish things would work the way I want them to. Not always the case. Alright, so don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I hope that this was helpful. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.